Thank you, Joe and Evelyn, for joining us today. If you can maybe tell us all a little bit about who you are and where you were in your property journey before joining Handle.
Yeah, I can start. Before joining Handle, looking for a property for a while, but didn't really have any direction or just found it a bit overwhelming in terms of the options out there. Handle were really great in terms of taking a brief and providing us some clear direction.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess I'm going through that. What was some of the key frustrations that you were trying to overcome?
Key frustrations were probably just a lot of options and understanding what I could afford and where to buy and everything really in terms of what size to purchase and what market to target and just too many options really. So just needed some advice and direction in terms of moving forward and pushing a property.
Yeah, fantastic. And in terms of, I guess, working with us, what was the process like?
Process was great. Both yourself and AJ clearly very experienced and provide good insight and good knowledge and good advice. And I was pleasantly surprised that you guys were both involved throughout the process. And Tommy was great as well. And at every point when we had a query, you guys were very responsive. Involved at every stage and exactly what I needed, especially being a first time buyer.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sorry, I was just going to jump in and say I agree. I feel like you guys were really great at helping with the overwhelm. I think especially all of the data that you pulled and the number crunching, I think it made it feel really easy for us and definitely from day dot when we had that initial sort of meeting with AJ and he kind of told us about Handle and who you guys were. It's like you had already thought of everything and you'd answered all of our questions before we'd had a chance to even ask them. So that was really good. So I think it sort of gave us this sort of feeling of comfort and security, these guys are experts at what they do. We felt like we could trust you throughout the process. And then when you sort of took us, we took each other on this journey of what it was that Joe and I were after, what you guys could recommend, and then, through to the options that you put forward.
Yes.
It just felt really easy.
Yeah, fantastic. And if you don't mind sharing a little bit about the property that was secured.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, so it's a 3-bedroom property in Blue Haven on the Central Coast, not too far from Sydney. Great property. Didn't actually inspect it until after it was purchased, so was pleasantly surprised when I met Nick there on a pre-settlement inspection. And actually, in person, it was actually better than what I what I thought. And seeing the building and pest report and some of the defects on there as well, albeit minor defects, it was good to see they were actually, it wasn't, and there were no issues there at all. And see it in person, which is another bonus really. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And who would you say Handle is the right fit for?
I'd say anyone who hasn't got much time and/or just needs some advice or some ideas, just a bit of a definition in terms of clarity in terms of where to look, or just any advice, I guess, around purchasing a property.
Yeah, that's true. I think definitely the time thing, I think that was really great. Maybe it's something we could have done ourselves, but I guess, not as informed as you guys. You definitely felt like you had the know-how, the knowledge and the expertise behind it. I guess anyone who just feels like they need backing for a decision that big. I mean, I feel like we are quite confident that you know, we will get some positive results, but it's a big decision sort of for like the everyday Australian. So
Yeah, especially as I said before, especially the there's just so many options out there, right? It's just really
Yes.
just understanding like what is the best option, and I guess you were able to guide us through and present different options to us that ticked all the boxes. I think that was quite good. I think I was quite impressed with you know, this one's available, but we're also looking at this one. And just options that met our brief really.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess there's so many stages of the journey from like beginning to settlement. Is there any particular aspect that was just completely new and it was like a new learning for you?
Well, yeah, I guess it was really kind of all new in some respects. You know, it had been the first property. So just having you guys, you know, there to bounce any queries off and also just take the lead on resolving some things and you know, taking me on the journey as well. But just just there is a safe pair of hands, trusted pair of hands, really to see us through from start to finish. It's actually, as I said, I think I've mentioned before, but it actually was a pleasant surprise that you were involved throughout the entire process. And that was that was great. I think we appreciate that.
yeah, I can think of little things that you guys pointed out as well, which maybe just caught me off guard. It was like the attention to detail, like stuff like I remember, like I've previously purchased something that was off the plan, but never, you know, like a finished house and things like that. And I feel like when you're putting the reports together, you know, Joe and I might find something in real estate, we're like, oh, or maybe something that you put together and we were like, oh, that looks really good. And you guys would come back and say, oh, we actually did look at that, but it's actually on like a sloping ground. There was something, something like that. And I was like, such a good call. Didn't like even think to look at that or to think of that. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess the market's a little bit, you know, a lot of people on the fence right now. What would you say to someone who might be on the fence right now that might be thinking to get into property or just thinking about, you know, pulling the trigger and kind of progressing?
Definitely bounce their thinking off you guys. Understand, you know, there's a lot of movements recently in rules, restrictions, and changes, I guess. But there's still options. So really understanding whether it is still feasible or whether what you want to do it still works or still stacks up. Like, you know, an example of that is we saw you guys for a strategy, and then there were some changes with the capital gains and negative gearing. We had another strategy session with you, and I think you know, it was good to see that some things had changed and you really adapted to those market changes.
Yeah, fantastic.